My name is Aisha, and this is the sentence that changed everything. You have only 1 month to live. The doctor didn't say it dramatically. No background music, no pause for effect. Just facts, cold and heavy. I remember staring at his lips, waiting for him to say he was joking, waiting for him to correct himself. But he didn't. He just looked at me with pity, the kind that hurts more than pain. I walked out of the hospital holding a report that felt heavier than my entire body. Outside, people were laughing, cars were moving, life was continuing, while mine had just been given an ending date. That night, I couldn't cry. I sat on my bed, staring at the wall, asking myself one question again and again. How do you live when you know you're dying? I thought about all the things I never said, all the people I helped but never leaned on, all the pain I carried quietly because I didn't want to be a burden. I never told anyone what I was going through. I was the strong one, the listener, the girl who said, I'm fine. But now, time was no longer something I could waste. The next morning, I called my mother and heard her voice like it was the first time. I didn't tell her the truth, not yet. I just told her I loved her. She laughed and asked why I was being so emotional. I met friends I had ignored for years. I smiled more. I forgave faster. I stopped pretending that small things mattered. At night, fear visited me quietly. What scared me wasn't death, it was regret. So I started living honestly. I spoke when my heart felt heavy. I cried without apologizing. I stopped explaining myself. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. Weeks passed. Then one day, my phone rang. It was the hospital. There had been a mistake. Further tests showed the diagnosis was wrong. The condition was serious, but not fatal. I wasn't dying in a month. I sat on the floor and cried like a child. But something inside me had already changed. That 1 month to live had taught me something years never did. Life is fragile. Time is borrowed. And silence can slowly kill you. I survived, but I promised myself something that day. I would never go back to living quietly. I would never hide my pain again, and I would never wait for death to start living. If you're reading this and you feel stuck, unheard, invisible, please don't wait for a doctor to wake you up. Live now, speak now, love loudly. After the hospital called and told me the diagnosis was wrong, everyone expected me to celebrate. They thought I would go back to my old life. But I couldn't. Because even though my body was safe, my mind was still living in those 30 days. I had seen death too closely, and once you look it in the eyes, you don't come back the same. People said, be grateful, you got a second chance. But they didn't see the nights I woke up gasping for air. They didn't hear the voice in my head whispering, what if they're wrong again? Every heartbeat felt borrowed. I started noticing things I had ignored my whole life. The sound of my mother breathing while she slept, the warmth of sunlight on my face, the way silence can feel peaceful or terrifying. But the hardest part? People stopped listening. They thought the story was over because I didn't die. They didn't understand that survival can be just as painful. I tried to talk about how scared I still was, how the fear hadn't left my chest, how living felt heavier than dying sometimes. But the world only understands pain when it has an ending. So once again, I stayed quiet. Until one night, I couldn't anymore. I looked at myself in the mirror and didn't recognize the girl staring back. She was alive, but exhausted. That's when I realized something important. I didn't need to survive. I needed to heal. Healing meant therapy. Healing meant boundaries. Healing meant choosing myself, even when it made others uncomfortable. I stopped explaining my trauma. I stopped apologizing for my fear. I stopped shrinking to make life easier for everyone else. Slowly, the panic loosened its grip. Not completely, but enough for me to breathe again. I learned that being strong doesn't mean pretending you're okay. It means admitting when you're not. And if I'm being honest, that 1 month to live changed me forever. It broke me, it rebuilt me, and it taught me something I will carry for the rest of my life. You don't need a death sentence to start valuing your life. If you're still here listening to my story, please hear this. Your pain is real. Your fear is valid, and you don't need permission to ask for help. I'm still healing. I'm still scared sometimes. But now, I'm alive in a way I never was before. I used to think surviving was the hardest part. I was wrong. Living after fear changes you in ways no one warns you about. Even now, months later, there are days when my chest tightens for no reason. Days when hospitals, white walls, or the sound of a monitor can send my heart racing. Trauma doesn't disappear just because danger is gone. But I've learned something powerful. I don't need to be fearless to live fully. I started doing small things for myself, saying no without guilt, resting without explaining, loving without holding back. I stopped waiting for the right time because I learned the hard way time is never promised. Some people walked away when I changed. Some didn't understand the new me. And that's okay, because the version of me who stayed silent, she didn't survive for this. She survived so I could live honestly. If you asked me now what that 1 month gave me, I'd say this. It didn't teach me how to die. It taught me how to live. And if you're listening to this story while hiding your pain behind a smile, please hear me. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to ask for help. And you are allowed to choose yourself. I'm not perfect. I'm not fearless. But I'm alive. And this time, I'm really living. If this story touched your heart even a little, comment below. I'm still here, so you know you're not alone. Like this video if you believe life is fragile and precious. Please subscribe for more real emotional stories that remind us we're human. You never know who needs your comment today.